So you're going to have to excuse the facial fluff. I did it for a few weeks, first of all to annoy Liv, and then it got to the point where you go, oh, it looks good, why don't you keep it? So I kept it. It looks like shit. It's all puber. It's horrible, but I'm in lockdown. I'm not seeing anyone. I'm just going to literally see where it goes. I had to shave my moustache off because that was 7 different colours. It looked like whiskers, like puby whiskers. So excuse the rat pube beard, and let's continue with the video. So I've been in lockdown now since March. A lot has happened in that time. Probably too much to recap on right now, but one of the main things is Trikafta being approved and now is going to be officially licensed on the NHS, which is amazing news, fantastic news for every single person with CF. So you'd think, but it's not fantastic news for every single person with CF. So let me just quickly explain something to you, in case you didn't know. Cystic fibrosis is made of 2 faulty gene types, and there are thousands upon thousands of types which these genes can be. So if you're looking at some sort of miracle cure or a miracle drug, then 9 times out of 10 you're going to pick the most common of them genes. So what they've done is there's a gene called F508del. I'm sorry if I've pronounced that wrong, because I'm never too up on these things, and that's the most common gene type you can have. Now most people have got that and one other. There's a lot of people, and it's quite common for them to have 2 copies of F508del. Now with Trikafta or Kaftrio as it's called in the UK, if you've got 2 copies of the Delta, then this deal that's been struck, you're automatically on it. And the people who are automatically on it, they've been told, happy days, you should be starting in a few weeks. Then you've got people who have 1 copy of Del and another gene type, and what the deal has said for anyone with that, the F508 Del and a minimal function mutation. And what is a minimal function mutation, you ask? Well, no one knows. That's the whole point. So if I was taking myself into example, I've got an F508 Del, which is the most common one, and then I've got a really, really rare one. So if they're looking at building some sort of cure, they're going to look at the ones that are most known about, most common, and affect most people. So mine, I'm assuming, hasn't been looked at. So what the information we've got from doctors at the moment in my CF unit in Wythenshawe is that they are going through a list to see who's eligible, and if I'm eligible, I'll get a phone call. So as a quick basic explanation, because this is pretty much all I know about it, Trikafta or Kaftrio as it's been called in the UK changes the way your body manages your salt and your water. What happens at the moment, people with cystic fibrosis, is it doesn't actually move properly. So when you get mucus as a person with fully functioning lungs, you might get the odd little bit of mucus. It might be, you might cough it up, it'll be fine. But what happens with cystic fibrosis is because the salt and the water don't move around and get absorbed and move around your body properly, we get thick, clogged up mucus, which basically affects your lungs, which damages your lungs, which is the main reason why people with cystic fibrosis unfortunately die early, because your lungs get so flooded and so damaged with sputum that your lungs give out and your lung function gradually goes down. So when I always go on about lung function being 80%, that's quite a big deal for me, because the way it tends to go is you start off at whatever you start off on, you're probably over 100, and you go down and down and down and down and down, you get to about 20%, then you've got the option of heart and lung transplant, and then that'll bring you back up, and then you'll be on medication, and then you're obviously, it's whether your lungs are rejected by your body, and it's all kinds of complications. So people with cystic fibrosis tend to go like this. Now this Kaftrio or Trikafta, whichever one you want to call it, this is the ability to take me from here and put me back here. So what that basically means for me is it's kind of reset. It's like a reset button. It's not a cure because you still have cystic fibrosis, but you have something called a purge, which gets rid of most of your mucus. So for me, if I'm at 80% now and I get rid of most of my mucus, I'm 34 years old. That's potentially a reset. That's potentially another 34 years. And do you know what I mean? I want a kid. Me and Liv at the moment, we're having a look at IVF. I want to live, I want a kid, and I want to grow old. And this drug can potentially let me do that. And for the first time in 34 years, something's come along, a drug's come along that says, do you know what? I'm going to make you feel better. I'm not going to slow the decline down. I'm not going to temporarily halt cystic fibrosis from killing you. I'm going to make you better. Imagine being told that, and then imagine being told you can't have it. If you're eligible, you'll get a phone call. What about telling everyone? Now, they've got 400 patients, fair enough, and everyone wants to know, everyone's sitting here in the same boat as me, everyone's concerned, everyone wants it for themselves. But what I'd like to have seen is a plan in place to say, right, we're looking through this list, we're looking through everyone, and we'll let you all know in due course. Because I could be sat here waiting for a phone call now, the miracle phone call. My mum's sat there all excited, Liv sat there all excited. Well, I'm not excited now, to be honest, I'm worried. It's like a stain on it. And I don't want to seem like I'm moaning, because it's a fantastic advancement for cystic fibrosis. But potentially it's something that I'm going to miss out on again. Because I missed out on the Orkambi and the Semkevi. I kept asking about them treatments and no one wanted to talk to me about it. They say this doesn't happen. And again, I'm not moaning because I'm very blessed to be well. But I do get a little bit overlooked and a little bit pushed to the side. Now, obviously, when these drugs come about and when they're fully licensed and they get prescribed, they're going to want them to give them to people who are on lower lung functions. That's fair enough. And I'd never expect me to come be for them. But what I would like is not to be forgotten in the background. You know, Chris is all right. He's got an 80% lung function. He's fine. Don't worry about him. Well, I want to keep that 80% lung function. It's not easy to keep it. It's not easy to maintain. I won't mind a little bit of help. Which hopefully I'll get. But I don't want to turn it negative. I'm just, but there's a lot of anxiety at the moment on not even whether I will or won't get it, because that's not as important as just being put out your misery and knowing whether you will or you won't. Because if someone says to me, right, you're not getting it, then I know I'm not sat here waiting. My mum's not sat home waiting. My dad's not sat there waiting. Liv's not upset because she doesn't know and it's stressing her out. There's a lot more things at stake here than, you know, am I getting it or am I not? It's managing expectations and what happens. Because this is a marvellous, fantastic foot in the door for everyone with cystic fibrosis. And I'm happy it's going ahead. But at the same time, I'd just like to know if I've got the chance of getting it or not. And I've got no doubt that now this foot in the door is in there, the door's going to be flung right open and eventually I will get it. But, you know, how long do you wait for it? Do I have to wait until my lung function is bad enough to get it? Because people do get it on compassionate, which is, again, absolutely fair enough. You know, when a lung function, I think, dips under 30 or maybe 40%. But what I don't want to do is get to the point where I have to wait for it to do that, because then, you know, waiting for me to get that early is taking away the lifestyle I have now, in hope to take a tablet to get back the lifestyle that I have now, and it doesn't make sense. I'd rather have it now, keep the lifestyle that I've got, put less of a strain on the hospitals, less of a strain when I go in with infections. I must cost shitloads of money to the NHS. I pay all my taxes and my insurance, my national insurance and everything, just like you do. So, you know, I'm paying for me as well. So, you know, I half apologise that you're paying so much money to the NHS for me. I'd rather get on this treatment and save everyone a lot of money, and it makes sense for everyone with cystic fibrosis to go on this drug regardless. If it can work for them, get the same deal as the USA, because in the USA, if you've got one copy of Dell and any other mutation, you're covered on it and it is working. So that's the kick in the dick, really, because you've got something that you know is going to work for you, and tons of people are going to be in the same boat as me, and tons of people are in the same boat as me. You know for a fact there's something out there that can help you. But we're getting dicked about because someone doesn't want to pay for it, when it makes complete sense for us to be on it, because we will be less of a drain on the NHS and less of a drain on taxpayers' money. So yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating, but as usual, you know, I'm healthy, I'm walking around. A lot of people aren't healthy, a lot of people aren't walking around. I'm very, very lucky. I'm still working hard, I'm still keeping in reasonable shape. I say reasonable because, you know, it's lockdown and I'm getting lazy. I've had an MRI scan on my ankle because Liv made me a cheese pizza I got well excited, and I jumped up in the air. I had a few beers as well. Jumped up in the air and I come down, and I literally just crushed my foot. So I started running lockdown as a means to keep myself in shape and not putting any weight. But I've not been able to run because I've practically severed my foot. So I'm getting back on track with all that stuff. So yeah, it seems like I've just had a little bit of a moan about Trikafta, Kaftrio, but it's not that. I'm just feeling a little bit frustrated, and I'm sure most people with cystic fibrosis, most families with cystic fibrosis, and it's going to be a bit of a touchy time, because already on Facebook you're seeing people posting, oh my god, my life's changed, this is going to help me so much. And they should do, they're entitled to, because they've waited for it for years, and I'm probably going to do the same. And it's difficult now because you've got the awkwardness. It's like the coronavirus, wearing a mask and not wearing a mask. It's all that again, you know what I mean? Because you don't know what to say, what to do, the right or wrong, because you're offending someone. Do you know what I mean? I'm not getting offended by people saying that, you know, it's changed my life, amazing, I want to get on it. But a little bit of me is envious, and a little bit of me does think, fucking hell, what about me? And it gets me a bit shitty, and I don't want to see it, and I shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't be forced to be like that, because I'm genuinely happy for anyone who gets on it. But weird times. So basically, I guess the message is, and the message is, this is probably a message for myself, is be happy for other people, because they deserve to be on this medication, and my time will come to be on it, and your time will come to be on it as well. So just hang in tight, keep as well as you can until you get there, and hopefully this time next year we'll all be on that naughty Kaftrio gear.